Okay, so today we're going to look at finding or solving our trigonometric equations using a calculator, because sometimes when we have to find the inverse of our trigonometric functions, they're not always on the unit circle for us to see. So here I have an example of cosine theta equals 0.251. So I am going to put it in my calculator, and it says that I want to find all angles between 0 and 360. So this is important. These instructions are important. So that means, first of all, that I know that my angle has to be in degrees and not radians. So we're going to use well, not mine, it's not mine, but we're going to use a free graphing calculator at www.desmos.com. So let's pull it up. Sorry about that. It didn't want to agree with me. Okay, so this is my free graphing calculator at www.desmos.com. It says /calculator. You don't have to put the calculator part in there. It should come up for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I am in degrees. So as you can see, it's in radians. I don't want radians. I'm going to click on degrees. Then I'm going to come over to my calculator. There's a little button down here. It automatically came up for me. You might have to click on it and it went down, click on it and it goes up. I'm going to hit the function. And then there's that inverse sign that I had on my whiteboard. So let's put in our number. We have 0.251. And there it comes up for us. We have 75.46. So let's go back to our whiteboard. So we get our angle is at 75.46. So I'm going to write out a little quadrant plane for me, just to make sure that everything is okay. So first of all, we know that we want all the angles between 0 and 360. And so that means that we can also use reference angles, because these reference angles are also going to give us the exact same degrees. So we know that 75.46 is in quadrant 1. And in quadrant 1, my x are my cosine and my sine are both positive. Over here in quadrant 2, I have a negative cosine, right? Over here in quadrant 3, I have another negative cosine. But in quadrant 4, I have a positive cosine. So I need to find the reference angle according to the 75.46 in quadrant 4 that is the exact same. So we know that the rule for finding a reference angle in quadrant 4 is to subtract from 360. So let's do that. We'll do 360 minus 74.56. So when I put that in my calculator, I got 284.54. You know what? Let's check our answer. Let's check our answers. All right, so we'll do first. I can just type in cosine. I'm going to just type it in. So cosine of 75.46. Oops, I get 0.251. Okay, so we know that that one is correct. Let's do the other one. Let's do the cosine of 284.54. Oh, 0.251 as well. So we know that those are both correct. Let's look at another example. Okay, now we have 1 plus 2 tangent theta equals negative 3.215. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides again. Well, not again. I didn't do it before. And I get 2 tangent theta is equal to negative 4.215. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I get tangent theta is equal to negative 2.1075. So let's put that in our calculator. So my function's tan inverse, and I'm going to put negative 2.1075. And I get negative 64.6. We're going to round up to 62. So let's go put that on a whiteboard. Okay, so first, I hope you notice that it is not in the type of answers we want. So this is not one of our answers. Negative 64.62 is not an answer for us because it's not between 0 and 360. So we need to find out where that angle is between 0 and 360. So how do we do that? Well, according to our reference angles formulas, first we're going to add 360 to it until we get to a number that is between 0 and 360, and then see where it lands in our quadrants. So first I will add 360 to my 64.62, and I get 295.38. So another angle, still not the answer, but it's part of my reference angles, right? So I have to do this. So I'm going to say this is from 0 to 90. This is from 90 to 180. And this is 180 to 270. So that means that this is 295 is in my fourth quadrant. So in my fourth quadrant, if I have this angle, then that means I need to subtract this from 360 to find out what my angle is. So subtract 295 or 360 from 295, and I get 64, which is still a reference angle, by the way. You're not going to believe this, 64.62, right? So 64.62 is in quadrant 1. Well, our answer is a negative. We want our answer to become negative. Well, the answers in quadrant 1 are both positive. So this is not one of my answers. Where will it be negative at? Well, we know that in quadrant 2, I have a positive and a negative. So it can be in quadrant 2. In quadrant 3, I have negative and negative. So it's not in quadrant 3. But in quadrant 4, I have a positive and a negative. So it's in quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. So I need to find out where this is in quadrant 4. Well, in quadrant 2. So in order to find it for quadrant 2, I need to use my reference angle and subtract that from 180. So it's 180 degrees away. So 180 minus 64.2. And I get 115.38. So one of my actual answers, took us forever, is 115.38. Okay. Now, is there another reference angle? Let's see if there's something in quadrant 4. Well, I bet you already know it's one of these, right? So in quadrant 4, this one, I know that I need to take my reference angle, which is 64.62, and subtract it from 360. And we've done that, and we've gotten 295.38. So my second angle, which is in quadrant 4, is 295.38. And again, we have this nice calculator. Let's check our answers. All right. So I just typed in tangent, and then we'll do 115.38, and I get negative 2.107. Not 5, but it's pretty close. We did a lot of rounding, so we can give ourselves a break. And then the next one is tangent 295.38. And again, it's pretty close. Again, our rounding was off a little bit, but it looks like it is the correct answer. And so hopefully the moral of the story is, don't just trust the answer that you get. You have to keep working, you have to keep thinking, and you have to keep analyzing. And I hope that this video helps.